Welcome back, Truth Seeker. January 13th, 2020. Want to go through these top headlines this morning. Cory Booker ends his presidential campaign. We have the story of a soldier who supposedly survived the missile attack at Al-Assad Air Base January 8th, 2020. And we have a mass stabbing in Colorado. This time, Colorado Springs again. Colorado. Always stories of death and killing. Again, we'll revisit the reason why, but I want to show you the theme through all of this propaganda-based news on the morning of January 13th. Old 113, that very special number from the Talmud, Bava Kama 113a, that says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who's not Jewish. And, of course, words such as mainstream, dishonest, not true, fiction, bullshit, etc., all have that gematria of 113. It's also a number of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and for the people already calling in, I'm not taking calls because most callers can't stay on point. But let's go through it. So we'll see a very clear parallel here. We'll start with this mass stabbing in Colorado. So remember, Colorado has that gematria of 83 and 38 like murder. About a year ago, it was all about Chris Watts in Colorado. That whole story was centered around 83 and 38. Don't forget that Colorado's the 38th state in order of statehood. Words such as death, killing, RIP have the gematria at 38. Again, it's the reason why you hear about Colorado in regards to so many tragedies. Mass shootings. Again, they choose this state because of the numbers behind it. They say that the stabbing extended into America the Beautiful Park. And just think about what a sick joke that is, realizing that this is all contrived crap. America the Beautiful, the land of psychopath killers. But America the Beautiful Park sums to 143, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, like Scottish is 113. And, again, Cory Booker's the other top story. We've always pointed this out about Cory Booker. He has the gematria of 127 and 143, just like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Working in the nation's capital, named after the Scottish Rite Freemason, George Washington. For you NFL fans, a few weeks ago, you saw on the screen in a big game, Michael Thomas had the chance to pass Marvin Harrison in receptions for the season. And what stat did they put up? That Michael Thomas came into the game with 127 receptions. And he was trying to pass Marvin Harrison, who was at 143. They kept showing you that all game, that stat, that visual image. Again, American football credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp. Michael Thomas did set the record this year, catching his 144th pass from Drew Brees. New Orleans equals 144. Drew Brees, 144. Understand, Masonry controls everything from your news to your rig sports games by this code every single day. So, nice Scottish Rite tribute for the stabbing location on this date, 113 with the Scottish connection. Don't forget, Freemasonry is based in mostly the Old Testament, which is Judaism. They're based in Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. And again, Bava Kama 113a. Expect a lot of bullshit today. Also, if you just take that name America the Beautiful, leave off the park part, sums to 81, like mass stabbing, what they're calling this. Call that the ritual number, ritual 8181. So there's your Colorado Springs mass stabbing story to start the morning. More on the Cory Booker ending his race. Again, it's perfect day for Scottish Rite rituals. Cory Booker, likely born into a family connected to the Scottish Rite. If he weren't, he would never be a politician. And, I mean, you got to look at politicians like Cory Booker and go, what is wrong with that guy? I mean, like, it seems like he is the product of some sort of mind control program. He's like the least authentic human being on the planet, Cory Booker. But you know what? Let's just go back to the day he announced. The first day of Black History Month, February 1st, 2019. They had up this picture of Cory Booker, Obama, and Kamala Harris. Remember, this is going to be the 59th U.S. presidential election. Negro equals 59, slave 59, blues 59, Rasta 59. Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Motown came out in 59, etc., etc. But the day that Cory Booker announced the first day of Black History Month, it was a date with 42 numerology. That number stamped all over Black History. February's 42, the N-word's 42, Jackie's 42, Jackie Robinson, number 42, Slavery 42, Tuskegee, Martin. You know, Martin in the sitcom lives in apartment number 42. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, 42. That's just a short list. There's so many 42s. When you write out 42 as a word, it's 142 like President Obama. Pointed out many times before from Obama's likely fake birthday. I'm pretty sure everything about Obama is fake. His name, his birthday, he just made up CIA character. But anyway, from his supposed birthday to the start of Black History Month, every single year, 181 days. Barack Obama in Jewish gematria is 181. 181's the 42nd prime. Again, Obama's also 84 in Jewish gematria, like his 8-4 birthday. Now you got Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, who also has the 8-4 birthday, who, I don't know, I always thought that the two biggest space aliens on the planet of this Earth were Sam Cassell and Adam Silver, who both are connected to the NBA. But now that I've seen Lori Lightfoot, I'm like, man, she's close too. Something really wrong with that Lori Lightfoot character. Her name, like Barack Obama, sums to 76, which Negro, Slave, Blues, Rost all sum to 76 with the reverse alphabetic order, like the Million Man March on the day leaving 76 days left in the year. Anyway, just trying to help you understand why these people have the birthdays that they have. Again, this is the 59th race for the president. And was there anything else about this? Oh, yeah. From Cory Booker's birthday to the announcement was 281 days. Also 9 months and 6 days. Booker's 96, so is Freemason. But the 281 days, that's the 60th prime. Look at the N-word. 60, 42 date numerology. You see how they did it? See how sick it is? Of course, back then we were talking about the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry connection, because that's all it is in D.C. That's who works by this code. And, yeah, those are the main points. So, coming back to today, again, we know about the 42s. From the day his campaign started to the day it ended, today, January 13, 2020, going back to February 1st, 2019, span of 347 days. That's the 69th prime number. Again, it's all Masonic symbolism. 69 is a number that relates to time. It's up at the top of the Masonic arch. In this case, it is the symbol for Cancer, but it's all time related. Saturn equals 69, the occult keeper of time. A lot of these candidates do their campaigns around Saturn numbers, including the sitting president, Donald Trump. His campaign lasted 511 days. Saturn's 511 in Jewish gematria. But anyway, Cory Booker, Scottish Rite ritual, mass stabbing news, more Scottish Rite bullshit. Remember, Scottish Rite controls police worldwide, media worldwide, most governments worldwide. It's how they're able to pull this off every single day. They are the power structure. Again, it's that film, They Live. At the end, he pulls the plug on the media and everybody wakes up. That's exactly what has to happen in this world. And don't forget, they equals 58, like secret society, like Rosicrucian, like Freemasonry. Okay, so next story. Akeem Ferguson, survivor of January 8, 2020 Al-Assad Air Base missile attack. So notice how they emphasize, I was 100% ready to die. And this entire story is probably complete bullshit. But what they emphasize summed to 68. Like CIA, and we've been talking an awful lot about 68 and the CIA over the years, especially in recent days with Iran, because they just keep giving us one 68 story after the next. Yesterday, it was their only Olympic medalist leaving the country. She's just so disgusted with the plane being shot down. She's off to Europe. So Olympic medalist, 68 like CIA. Remember, this whole thing started with the killing of Soleimani. And Soleimani was supposedly killed January 3rd, 68 days before his March 11th birthday. And remember, the CIA has controlled Iran since 1953 when they overthrew it, which isn't some conspiracy theory, it's a fact. The CIA overthrew Iran in 1953. Do you think they ever gave up control? Of course not. Iran's been one of the main oil producers in this world that's all about dollars and cents, and where oil's the blood of the economy. The CIA has controlled Iran ever since. And, you know, another headline that was up this morning is about how there's mass protests in Iran right now. On January 13th, Protest 113. I have no doubt that a lot of Iranian people probably do hate their own country. Because imagine if you were a country that was occupied by a foreign government's intelligence and you were always used as this puppet boogeyman within world media. A lot of people, even in their own nations, are susceptible to the media, and it's bullshit. I grew up with an Iranian kid. His name was Muhammad, and we never realized his name was Muhammad until he was like 18 years old and admitted that, because his whole life, from elementary school through high school, he went by the name Mo and always claimed to be Italian. And I used to always look at Mo and think, okay, maybe you're half Italian, but you definitely look like you're from the Middle East. And anyway, Mo, when he was older, him and I became friends in high school. We actually didn't like each other when we were younger. We were more like sports rivals. He's this funny little Iranian kid. He walked like a duck, that waddle walk, but man, he's one of the fastest kids I ever saw. He ran so funny with his legs pointed out, his feet pointed out. Looked like an animal running, but he was so fast. But anyway, in high school, I had this conversation with him, and he talked about how embarrassed he was to be an Iranian and a Muslim, and so he always wanted to keep it under wraps, and that's why he went by Mo and said he was Italian. And, of course, he learned this from his parents, who fled from Iran, and then they fled there. I forget what year they fled, but it was after the overthrow by the CIA and everything. So anyway, I just know from a personal experience, knowing someone from Iran, that they do have, like, this resentment and shame. And they probably are embarrassed now that their government is admitting to shooting down a plane. And really, when their government admits to shooting down a plane, who's really admitting it? Well, the CIA that runs Iran. And, I mean, think about how the CIA runs things in the U.S. when we shut down a plane. You know, TWA 800 in New York, everyone knows that plane was shot down. Everyone saw the missile. What do we say? We just deny it. We just deny it. And if Iran was a legitimate government, they would deny that they shot down a plane too. And, I mean, did they even really shoot down a plane? The story doesn't make any damn sense. I mean, all day they reported that Iran shot 15 surface-to-surface missiles at the airbase. Surface-to-surface, not surface-to-air missiles. But then all of a sudden a story emerges that a plane was shot down by a surface-to-air missile. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's all bullshit. And realize, the world is controlled by a power structure that wants the world to have the same beliefs. You know, the West is great. The U.S. is great. How many people in the world think the U.S. is so great? And then they actually come to the U.S. and they're like, wait a minute. This isn't as great as I thought it would be. I used to work at an autistic children's home. And for whatever reason, a lot of the people that applied to work there were from Africa. And I got to talk to so many Africans, and they all expressed the same sentiment, that they didn't like it in America. People were racist here. They looked at them crazy. There was no culture. People aren't friendly. Everyone's paranoid, suspicious. You know, there's no brotherly love. Neighbors don't exist. Anyway, this is the reality of America. Those of us who live here, we know that this is how it is. But people all over the world hear these stories about how great America is, and they hear them in Iran, in the Middle East, and all over the damn world. And then they hear about how shitty their countries are. Because realize, the same group of people are controlling the show worldwide, programming the minds of the masses, getting everybody to believe the same things, be all about consumerism, eating junk food, listening to the same music, watching the same shit. This is the world we live in. So, yeah, I'm sure people are protesting against their own government in Iran because they've been mind controlled. They've been duped. And, again, just to come back to this 68 thing, again, everything's 68. Olympic medalist deserts Iran. Today, this bullshit headline about the Iran thing, 68. Again, Soleimani killed 68 days from his birthday. And we just been talking about 68 in the CIA forever. You know, the best example of a mind control operation meant to, you know, persuade the whole world was September 11th. A plan that went into motion in 1968. It was probably planned long before 68. Probably planned before the World Wars even started. But in 1968, that's when the plan went into motion for 9/11/2001. Again, 1968, 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began in New York. George W. Bush graduated from Yale in Skull and Bones. His father was the head of the CIA. And again, Bush's birthday every year, July 6th to September 11th, is a span of 68 days. The word terror equals 68. You know, his favorite word when he was president. His birthday, July 6th. I've been talking about 9/11 and 68 so much, I wrote a book about it. Last year, after my book had already been released, this story came out. She fled the 68th floor. This is a story about 9/11. I mean, you can just see how the media just codes their numerical bullshit all day, every day. I mean, I talked about 9/11 and 68 probably at least 1,000 times before this story came out on September 11, 2019. This was their FU story to, again, remind you about the lies that you're supposed to believe about 9/11. The 68th floor. And, again, the numbers have meaning. CIA, Massive information mind control program. And those numbers all over the whole Iran thing. And again, you know, you think about George W. Bush. What did he always say besides the word terror back then? Axis of evil. And who was the axis of evil? Iran, North Korea, which are both CIA puppet states controlled by the U.S., and Iraq, which is definitely controlled by the U.S. at this point. So, you know, it really couldn't be any more obvious. People want to... oh, and by the way, your sitting president, Donald John Trump, equals 68. The Apprentice equals 68. Even his author name, Donald J. Trump, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 68. Another CIA pawn. That's who occupies the Oval Office. There's no democracy here. Nothing democratic about this republic. It is a dictatorship run by the numbers, run by secret societies, who put it down in numbers every single day. That they know that the Goyim are just too dumb to grasp, even when it's taught to them for 6 years very clearly by someone such as myself. So, anyway, I'll be back later today. I'm sure today's just going to be all full of bullshit. Here, let's close out there real quick. Let's close out with the bullshit list, the 113 list since January 13th. Again, Baba Kamal 113a. Jews may use lies to circumvent Gentiles. There is more to this passage. It's about how Jews can lie to non-Jews in a legal setting. So it's only okay to lie in a legal setting. But then again, you think about that, you're like, well, where in this world isn't it a legal setting? So I guess pretty much you can lie anywhere. And then you just look at all these words: mainstream, dishonest, perverted, not true, not honest, not factual, disinfo, politics, perjury, fiction, bullshit, infidelity, divorce, sinister, erroneous. Just so many words that have to do with deception. Green screen, for example, can be used for deception. 113. The National Basketball Association 113. Michael Jordan 113. Kobe Bryant 113. Who runs the NBA? Think about it. By the way, George Lucas's first film, THX 1138. If you've never seen that film, you should check it out. It's a lot. It has a lot to do with the world we're living in now. The movie was one of those foreshadowers. I'm not going to take any calls right now. People have been calling in, but I'll probably do another live stream later today because, again, I expect the headlines will be busy today. I do have something else I have to work on now, so we will wrap it up here. And, wow, it says I have 113 concurrent viewers. Oh, there, it went to 114. Thank God. All right. I'm sure that was some bullshit, too, from YouTube. Don't ever forget that YouTube was established on the 113th day of the year. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Till next time.